Hey Jayhawks, welcome back. Excited to chat today with Evan Manning, Director of Player Development for Wake Forest Men's Basketball. Evan's a 2016 grad of our program, and excited to hear from him and what he's doing in his day-to-day and how he got to where he's at now. So, Evan, first we'll just start with this. Just describe your day-to-day to us as a Director of Player Development, what that means, what you kind of do on a daily basis.
Yeah, so it's a little different than the name. A lot of times I tell people I'm the director of player development, and they think that I'm on the court working out with guys or coming up with workout plans and whatnot, but it's actually all off the court work. So guys ready for life after basketball. So help them with resume building, community involvement, and just a lot of personal development. So that ranges from a lot of different things, whether it's a cooking class, setting up a career day. We have a lot of people in the athletic department that help with that, but it's basically helping our guys navigate life off the court.
Very cool. So speaking of off the court, somebody who's a former student athlete, now you're coaching. What's your thought? I think I got a picture of you as a student athlete. Actually, yep, there we go. Get out of the way. What's your thought on all this NIL, name, image, likeness legislation that's working its way through in different states and the NCAA?
Well, it's different for me as a coach now on this side of things and as a player. So as a player, I had a lot of teammates who definitely could have benefited from being able to use their name, image, and likeness. I definitely think it would benefit a lot of people today. But it is tricky. I wrote a lot of papers on it. I'm sure it'll are an interesting topic in the sports world. But it's difficult. I think people definitely need to be able to make money and use their name, image, and likeness and have a right. They have their right to it. But it's kind of like we're in a hole now with where the rules have been. So it's trying to get us out of that hole and making sure we're doing it the right way. On the coaching side of things, it makes me think about recruiting. So like if California students can benefit from it and North Carolina kids couldn't, so it's those schools have an advantage recruiting wise. So a lot of what I do now is focused on recruiting. And so that's where my mind goes right away. It's how will other people be able to benefit if we can't? And so it's kind of a tricky slope, and it's something I'm really interested to see where it goes. But it definitely could help out a lot if the athletes can have their right to that, which I think they should have.
Oh, good. So let's move back onto the court. What current offenses, coaches, if one of our students wants to be an aspiring basketball coach, who should they be studying? What should they be watching?
So for me, I study, basically it's my job to watch basketball all the time, right? So
Sure.
I learn from everyone all the time, which is a really cool opportunity for me working in the ACC, getting to go up against and compete against some of the best coaches this game has seen. So I've learned a lot from all the ACC teams specifically, but offensively, let's see. Purdue, I watch a lot of Purdue. Coach Painter runs a lot of great motion offense, and it's fun to see it from the beginning of the season to the end and how it progresses and builds. So they have a lot of smart players, a lot of motion offense, and they spread the floor, but they also have a big. Always you see Purdue with a couple 7-footers on their team,
Yeah.
right? And so it's fun to see him play through the bigs, but also have guards that can make plays like Carson Edwards. They're a fun program to watch. Another offensive team, I would say, honestly, it's fun to watch Duke because they have so much talent, and it's interesting to see how Coach K puts them in a spot to score. So that's one team that they do a lot of things differently than a lot of other teams. It's more NBA style where it's all right, these two are going to have this side of the floor and they're going to go play. All right, and so that's different. I can kind of like what I love to do is watch different coaches in their different little schemes. So Coach Bird from Belmont, a longtime coach at Belmont, he has some of the best like baseline out of bounds plays you'll ever see. A lot of simple back doors, and that's something I dove into a lot this year. Our video coordinator named Corey Schmidt, he was at Belmont as a manager, and so he kind of put me on and there's a lot of so you can watch anyone and learn anything. So there's so much information out there. There's so many different great coaches with different styles. Try and watch someone new. Try and pick a team in the off season and kind of just study them up for a couple months if I can. But so lately it's been Belmont and it's been Purdue. Defensively, I love watching Florida State. They play an up-tempo style. They want to They want to create turnover. They want to wreak havoc. They're going to pick you up full court. Coach Ham does a great job defensively, and then also Virginia. So Virginia is like it's the opposite of how we played at KU, and so it's they want to slow you down. They want to protect the paint. While when I was at KU, it was all denial. We want to get into the passing lane, steal, play fast, and so it's learning about Virginia compared to what I was taught growing up. It was completely different. So I've been studying them a lot, and it's completely different, but they're both very effective. So those have been a couple of great programs to watch defensively.
Yeah, on that same vein, there's a lot of discussion in the basketball community about what the Rockets were doing before this whole break happened, with playing no bigs and shooting tons of threes and having guard centers. And what was your kind of thought when they brought that out and watching that?
It's tough to watch just because it's different than anything I've done. I really enjoy watching James Harden. I love watching small ball, and I think that's where the game's going. But then at the same time, it's going to open up the doors for another big to come in and dominate the game. So it's interesting to see the evolution of it. Coach D'Antoni's been doing great stuff for as long as I've been alive. Been very innovative in their style of play. But they're unbelievable to watch. So watching James Harden go to work and watching just watching them spread the floor. I love seeing 5-out offense, and that's something they do a great job of. And playing small ball, they have all the pieces to do it. And so I think it could have been really interesting in the playoffs to see how other teams guarded it.
What's one influential thing you've read or listened to lately that you think our students would benefit from?
I'm sorry, say that again. You kind of broke up.
What's one influential thing you've read or listened to lately you think our students would benefit from?
What the last coaching or team building book I read was The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. That was something that was kind of introduced to us through introduced to our program through a sports psychologist. So they came in and they kind of broke down the book, and it was just about what you need to do to basically take away all the negative factors that can affect a team. And so that was one that was very influential, and it kind of put me in the perspective of a head coach. So if I wanted to build a program, if I wanted to build a team, what would I need to do to make sure we're progressing in the right direction? Non-basketball wise and coaching wise, I've been reading a book called So President Obama, I think it was a couple years ago, came out with a list of some of his most influential books that he read. And it's about basically how our worldview is changed from where we're at. And so a lot of people have a negative worldview on how poverty-stricken the world is, how uneducated the world is. And this is a book about it's basically about stats and how we're wrong about that. And so it's really uplifting, and it kind of gives you a different perspective on where we're at as a world, where things might be bad in some places, but they're definitely getting better all over the world. So that was a different one outside of basketball. It's called Factfulness.
Interesting. All right, let's end with just 5 rapid fire questions. All right, if you weren't a basketball coach, what profession do you think you'd be interested in?
Can I pass and come back to that?
Sure. Second one, best pure shooter you've played with or coached?
Played with them in AU ball from Kansas City.
Sorry, say that again. You cut out there at the end.
It was Tyler Kalinowski. He played at Davidson, and he went to school at Olathe East, and I played AAU ball with him.
Very cool. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about the upset over Duke in February?
It was amazing. Full team effort. It was 100%. Just give it everything you got, and it was unbelievable effort by our guys. Really proud of them.
TV show you're embarrassed to admit that you watch?
Been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy right now.
Nice. That's still on?
Netflix.
Netflix. Nice.
A couple seasons in there now.
What's the most impressive skill or talent you have that isn't related to basketball?
Probably ping pong.
Nice. All right, back to the first one. If you weren't a basketball coach, what profession do you think you'd be interested in?
I would love to be a teacher.
Very cool. All right, Evan, thanks for your time, man. Take care. Be safe. Rock chalk.